Hi guys. Over the last couple days, I've spent quite a lot of time thinking and watching videos. Now, what I've ran across on YouTube is a lot of videos. Wow, it literally started me and did last, didn't it? A lot of videos where people think that PC gaming is a lot less superior, or a lot, what's the word I'm looking for? Not superior, but a lot worse than console gaming. And I figured it was about time for me to throw my 2 cents into the ocean of change that is now about on YouTube. Now, everyone apparently seems to think that on PC, you have to go out and spend crazy amounts of money to get into it. That's not true. You can spend whatever you feel like. You can buy second-hand PCs that are meant for office use when an office decides to upgrade that are still relatively powerful even today for next to nothing. Oh, oversteer. And give it just a moderately okay graphics card, upgrade the power supply to one that's meant to handle a graphics card, and you're off to the races. There's a company around where I live, and I'm not going to disclose their name, where they just upgraded their entire setup, because they do that about once every 3 years. Now, 3 years ago, they upgraded to about the highest tier of commercial or office PCs they could find. So they're all like Intel i7s, and they all have 8 gigs of RAM, depending on what you're doing, and some of them have respectable graphics cards. Now, I'm not going to say that you're going to go out and play games on these graphics cards, but the computers they're selling for $200-300. Or were selling, I should say. You throw a relatively decent graphics card for a couple $100 and an okay power supply in it. You're in it for $400, maybe $500, which is less than the cost of a console. And you're going to be able to game all you want, as much as you want. I don't have to go out and tell you that there are people that on YouTube that they do budget builds all the time. I can't tell you how many YouTubers do it. A lot of them do. All the tech YouTubers do. They build them and they call them console killers, because most of the time they're cheaper. And if they're not cheaper, my game just tabbed out for some reason. And if they're not cheaper, then there's something else going on. Like, they're factoring in that games come on PC for a lot cheaper than they do on console. When you combine Steam Summer Sales with Kinguin and a Humble Bundle, their giveaways, you get games on PC for free on a relatively good basis. Just a couple of weeks ago, Payday 2 was given away on Steam with all of the DLCs for free. 100% free. Payday 2 is not one of these old crap games you get with Xbox Live each month. It's a legitimate game. And how good the game is depends on your personal preference. If you like games where you go on heists and steal money and, buy weapons, oh, wait, that sounds like Grand Theft Auto 5, doesn't it? It's Grand Theft Auto 5 without all the bullshit of the open world and having people get in your way. But that's a part of gaming. There's no actual reason to choose one over the other. Not one platform is superior to the other. PC has just as many drawbacks as it does benefits. Consoles are the same way. Consoles are plug and play. They are easy. Think of PC users as Android phone users. Or PC gamers as Android phone users. Android phones, you can do more with them. You can customize with them. Granted, things can go wrong. Things go wrong with iPhones too. But people will argue that iPhones are better than Android, and I disagree with that on the grounds that Apple doesn't even own the name iPhone. That's a whole nother video that should be done. Oh, sorry, dude. But it's like saying someone is wrong for picking something that they like. I like being on PC. It has more benefits, especially to me, than a console. Aside from the fact that the graphics look better, I can use pretty much whatever peripheral I want. Like, right now I'm using a wheel. It's meant for a PlayStation. PS4, actually. PS3 or 4. It's a Logitech G29. I have a Corsair keyboard and mouse because I like the feel of them. I like the premium feel of their things, and the keyboard is much more so than the mouse. Keyboard it's got metal on it. God, the AI are just sucking today, aren't they? It's all in what you want. You can get into PC gaming for whatever price tag you choose to. You can build a PC that'll perform twice as well as a console for the same money. But you have to actually put in effort. And in this day and time, people are not willing to put in the effort. There's a reason most Koreans, most Asians really, play games on PC. Because it makes more sense. There's more games out there. The backwards compatibility is beyond awesome. And there's less to worry about. Well, there's more to worry about with the PC going wrong, but at least it's troubleshootable. Whereas with a console, you don't have the same kind of warranty. With PC, you have warranties on individual components if you build it yourself. If you buy it from a system builder, then you have a warranty on the whole PC. Take the PC I'm currently on. I spent a couple $1,000s on it. But I wanted to spend that money. I built it to a point that I wanted. I get a much better gaming experience out of it than I would a console. I'm playing at a locked pretty much 90 FPS on ultra settings in this game. So this game not only looks better than Project Cars would on a console, I'm playing it at 3 times the frame rate. I'm only recording in 60 FPS. I'm sitting here watching this game in a full-on 90. Which is all fine and good. I can go out and buy the exact same monitor that I have now, which I currently have 3 of them. I don't play on 3 monitors often when I record because it stretches it out. But that's another thing you can do. You can have multiple displays working together. Everybody remembers when TVs went from the 4:3 format to the 16:9. The benefits that gave, the immersion level that 16:9 achieved back then. You can buy a 21:9 monitor, which I have one. I don't use it anymore because I have 3 1080p panels that's a lot friendlier for YouTube and my upload speed, because God, it takes forever. But I can play on 3 monitors at once, at whatever resolution I choose, at whatever frame rate I see fit. That's why I'm a PC gamer. I have freedom. I have choices. On a console, you are locked to whatever they want you to have. And they charge you for hardware that is equivalent to sometimes 3- and 4-year-old PC hardware. Yes, my graphics card is worth almost twice what a console is. Yes, my processor is worth more than a console. My motherboard is about half a console. No, it does not perform like 5 consoles. I went with incredibly high-end stuff. And because I went with incredibly high-end stuff, there is a such thing as diminishing returns on your investment. Just because I spent $275 on a motherboard does not mean it's going to perform for me any better than any other motherboard out there for the platform. But that's stuff that I have to go in and I have to do the research for. I have to do the research to learn what is better for me. You don't have to do that on consoles. And consoles do have a superiority in the simplicity. Like with an iPhone, they shove, with the Apple company really, they shove what they want you to have down your throat. If they don't want you to have something, they don't put it in, and you pay for it anyway. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not really okay with that. Got a much better lunch than all of these guys. I'm not okay with having things just shoved down my throat because that's the way it is. That's the reason I built my own PC. That's the reason I'm a PC gamer. I don't have to pay to play online. Like, yes, I'm playing with AI right now. Granted. But when I play Euro Truck Simulator or Project Cars or any PC game that is multiplayer, I don't have to pay a monthly fee to myself, because I built my PC, to play online. I paid for the PC, I paid for the internet, I paid for the games. Why should I have to pay to connect to servers to play online too? It's absurd, it's ridiculous. It's just them squeezing that much more out of you. And it's literally the exact same argument that you argue with Apple. If they don't want you to have something, they're not going to give it to you. And they're going to charge you a premium for you not having it. Because they've done all of the thinking that, they think that you will need. If they don't think you need an i7, they're not going to put an i7 in your price range. Console gaming. No console has ever supported multi-display gaming. Ever. I just completely missed that breaking point. Go around. Or don't. Trying to be nice to the AI. And because consoles don't give you that, you're limited as to your experience. I can play on 3 monitors at locked 60 FPS and it look a lot better than a console game. In the process, it's more immersive. Because I'm using a wheel, it's even more immersive. That's what I like. Some people like to kick back on a couch, hold a controller, and play games. Okay, you can do that on PC too. Newsflash. I mean, PC supports HDMI. It supports VGA, if you feel like running that old of a thing. But PCs are also on a hardware, not necessarily on a hardware, but even when you look at HDMI versus DisplayPort versus DVI, what is available to you on console is a lot better. With my ultra-wide monitor, I'm locked to, on HDMI, 50 Hz at its native resolution. And you're losing frames because of that. Because you're hitting the limit of what an HDMI cord is capable of holding. And guess what all consoles use? They either use HDMI or they use component. Component, guess what? That's HDMI. Just in a different connector. DVI. I think it's DVI-I. That's pretty much the exact same thing as HDMI, with a different connector. It's the digital version of a VGA. And a VGA is nothing but a PC version of the old yellow, white, and red cables that you used to plug into your TV back in the 90s. Only without audio, because they already had a standard 3.5mm audio jack for that. And PC, you are now able to cross-platform with Xbox One, which I am very happy about. If they ever bring PC, if they ever bring Halo to PC again, which they did in the early 2000s, I'll be thrilled. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Halo. I'm just not going to spend $500 on a console to play one game. On consoles, that's the only, well, on Xbox really, that's the only game that's exclusive just to it that I would actually play. Aside from that, all the other games I want, guess where they are? They're on PC. Guess what's going on at this moment of recording? Steam Summer Sale. Which means I can get whatever game I want on Steam, and for the most part, it's going to be quite heavily discounted. So I'm going to be spending a lot less money versus going to GameStop or off the Microsoft Store or off PSN. And yes, I am massively upside down for now on my PC. In other words, versus a console, you get into it for $500. You know, if you go as far as I did and you buy a special controller, if you buy a special TV or a TV that's good enough for what you want, then all of the costs associated with it, that's one thing that people really love to do. They like to just compare the cost of the total cost of a PC. Keyboard, mouse, monitors, and the tower. They compare that against the cost of just a console. That's not true at all. You can spend thousands of dollars on a TV that is worse than a computer monitor for the most part, because computer monitors are better. They really are. If you compare the 1080p monitor I'm using now to like the 65-inch Vizio in my living room, yeah, my 65-inch Vizio, it has a higher refresh rate. Granted, none of those frames are real. It only supports an inputted 60 FPS, which is more than a console can do. And then it turns it into whatever the frame rate is. I think it's got like 820 or something stupid like that. It puts in its own frames. Which, good for it. I'm surprised it has that ability. But that TV was nearly $2,000 just a few years ago when we bought it. It was like $2,400 for that TV. Okay, let's take a minute and spend $2,000 or $3,000 on computer monitors. Oh, I didn't have to. I spent $300 a piece for the 3 monitors that I have. They are Samsung 1080p curved 27-inch monitors. I'm not sure what the panel type is. It looks like it's IPS, which, yeah, you don't get on TVs, sadly. I want an IPS TV in 4K. That would be awesome. But you don't have it. And my 21:9 monitor is ultra wide. It's not widescreen, it's an ultra wide screen. Has an even better picture than these monitors. So for the sake of recording, I actually downgraded my personal experience for the sake of recording, streaming, and what have you. But I made the games able to be ran better while recording in the process, because I did spend stupid money. But it depends on what you want to do. If you want to record off of your TV with a console, you can do that. If you want to record off your TV with a PC, you can do that. If you want to hold a controller, guess what? All games that are available on console, that are available on PC, and many on PC that have never, will never be on console, guess how many of them support a controller? Almost all of them. And it's really sad, it really, really is, that people like to throw the controller superiority. Depends on what you're doing. I'm not using keyboard, mouse, or controller right now. I'm using a wheel and pedals, because that's better for the experience. I have feedback, I have a shifter. That's something you don't get with a controller. That's something you don't get with keyboard and mouse. If I'm playing a first-person shooter, I want a keyboard and mouse. It's accurate. It's reliable. And you can buy a keyboard and a mouse that will massively outlast a controller. Controllers, they have a finite lifespan. They die. Everything, hardware, dies. Everything mechanical dies eventually. It really all depends on what you want to spend. If you want to go out and you want to spend several $1,000s on a PC, you can do that. If you want to go out and you want to spend a few $100s on a console, well, that's pretty much your only option, is to spend several $100s on a console. Can you play original Xbox games on an Xbox One? I don't know. I don't think you can. But on PC, I don't have to question that. Almost every game that was available for release on the Windows platform, guess what? I can play it at my discretion. All I have to do is find a copy and buy it. And no, I do not have physical copies of many of my PC games. I think I have a physical copy of like 3 or 4. I got a really good deal on them. I have Diablo 3, Titanfall, the original, and I think I have a physical copy of Grand Theft Auto 5. And I know I have physical copies of Grand Theft Auto 4. That's it. Everything else, I don't have to worry about scratching a disc, because I can get it off of Steam. I can get it off of Uplay. I can get it off of Origin. So I don't have to worry about a disc degrading over time. And if Steam goes under, those games are still going to be available. Which, Steam, I hate to tell you console gamers, it's not going away. Steam throws up summer sales for people who just want to play games. And every time it's up to the developers of the game to lower the price for us on PC. It is strictly up to, like, Project Cars. If it goes on sale for 50% off, it's because that's what the developers wanted. They wanted to sell it for 50% off to get more people on the platform. Well, not on the platform, but into the game. Which, that's respectable. If you look at on Xbox, the games that go on sale, the games that they give away to you, most of the time, they're not games that I would really want to play anyway. Most of the time, they're really old or really crap games that no one wants to play, will play, or does play. Now, granted, you can get games off the Humble Bundle. You spend a couple of bucks, you get 5, 6, 7 games, and you play them. You might play some of them. You might spend a couple of bucks and play one game and get 5. Well, guess what? That's still less for 5 games than you would pay for one real game by a substantial margin. And a lot of times the Humble Bundle throws up really, really good games. They don't always. They throw up games I've never heard of before. But I'm not saying that they're bad games. I've never heard of them. Sometimes I research them. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't bother with the Humble Bundle. Sometimes I know the game I'm looking for and I have other websites to go for. I have Kingwin, and I can get it off of Steam if I choose to, or Uplay, or what have you. But getting back to it, there's no point in trying to say one is better than the other. It depends on your circumstances. If you don't want to have to worry about building your own PC, if you don't want to have to worry about driver updates and all of the little things that consist of... If you don't want to have to worry about all the little things that could come with consoles or PCs, then go for a console. If you want to worry about all of the... If you're willing to put forth the effort for the experience of playing on PC, go play on PC. That's what's better for you. Games run better, they look better, there's more of them. There's better games on PC. There's games on PC that will never see the light of day on console. Most of the time, consoles won't run them anyway, because they are inferior hardware. They're dated PC. The specs are like dated mid-range PC back in the day, not what's capable of today. Do what works for you. That's all I have to say. Thank you for joining me for a couple of small races and Project Cars, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.